Alright, so I'm gonna try and capture this on video. This is my original 006 cube, and this is CUDE, which is an abbreviation for Cura default. And I copied the default Cura profile, and then I made iterations where I changed settings, and this is 006. So this red is really not picking up well on my preview here, so hopefully you can see. And the reason why I want to recreate this is if I let the light shine so you can see the lines. And when we get to the rear x-axis of the cube, you'll notice that there's no imperfections here, and this is where the seam is. So rear left back here, and there is virtually no seam to speak of. This square part down here is basically completely seamless, if you will. And we have a tiny seam gap here on the rounded part. Okay, so then I tried to recreate that setting by opening the project file for this cube, reslicing it and saving it. And so this is cube 006 reslice control. And let's take a look at how this looks. Front face. Looks pretty good so far, but when we get to the rear of the x-axis, you can see these drag lines here where the filament has sort of been pulled apart. And more importantly, what I'm after is, you can see here that the seam looks terrible on this one. The red is really not picking up great on my camera preview here, so I'm hoping it shows up. So let's put these side by side. Let's see. So on the left is the original 006 cube, and on the right is the re-sliced control cube. Let's see if I can hold these steadily. Looks pretty similar. This is difficult. And then check this out. We get to the rear X, and I have no idea what's going on here. Look on the left, perfectly smooth and even, and the right side cube, which is the re-slice control, you have the drag marks. And then if we compare the seam of the two, you can see that the left one, the original, looks pretty much perfect, and the right one still looks pretty good, but it's a little bit, it's definitely more rough than the left one. And so then you might be thinking, well, you got lucky with the preheating of the nozzle and the bed and filament humidity and whatnot. And so right after I printed this one, I was like, okay, what's going on here? So I reprinted the original G-code file for Cube 006, which I have right here, which is called CUDE Cura Default Iteration 006 Control. These are printed from the exact same G-code file. Front face look pretty identical. And now for the big reveal, the rear X. Basically exactly the same. No drag marks, nothing. The right one looks maybe a tiny bit more rough, but not significant. And again, the seams here are pretty much identical. Okay, so let's see if I can get all three of them in here. So this is the rear X, and on the far left is the original 006 cube. Actually, let me do it like this. So far left, original 006. Middle, the recreated 006 from the same project file as this one, just resliced and saved, drag marks. And then on the right we have the reprint of the original G-code file from the far right cube. So how is it possible that I created the original cube 006, saved the project file in Cura, I sliced it, I printed it, and again an almost perfect cube with a almost perfect seam. I opened that same project file, slice it, save it, print it again, and it looks like this. I don't really understand. So I've compared the G-code output files for both of these with Notepad++. There's a plugin that lets you compare text files line by line. And the header and the bottom of the G-code file where the settings are presented are identical, but the G-code of the print itself differ slightly. So I'm just wondering how that's possible. And obviously I want to be able to recreate this and not this. Okay, that's it. There's going to be a link in the description to all of the source files, an Excel settings list, and some comparison pictures from Notepad++. Please let me know. Thanks.